every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which it is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat.
And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for me, and it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good, and the evening and the morning were the sixth day.
So now we'll go to 1 Chronicles chapter 28, and then we'll read verse 9. Oh, it's just one verse, verse 9, okay.
And thou, Solomon, my son, know thou the God of thy father, and serve him with a perfect heart and with a willing heart. For the Lord searcheth all hearts, and understandeth all the imagination of the thoughts. If thou seek him, he will be found of thee. But if thou forsake him, he will cast thee off forever.
Let's continue with verse 10 so that the other people can read.
Take heed now, for the Lord hath chosen thee to build a house for the sanctuary. Be strong and do it.
Then David gave to Solomon his son the pattern of the porch, and of the houses thereof, and of the treasures thereof, and of the upper chambers thereof, and of the inner palace thereof, and of the place of the mercy seat.
You got everybody? Okay, good. Let's go to our introduction. The knowledge of God is very essential to having a proper relationship with Him. Knowledge of God is very essential to having a proper relationship with God. If you are going to have a relationship with somebody, it's important that you know about that person. How do you get into a relationship with somebody you don't even know anything about? I don't think it's going to be a good relationship. You have to find ways to learn things about that person. So, if you want to also have a relationship with God, then you have to have a good knowledge of God. Very, very important. God wants us to know Him. He actually wants us to know Him. He reveals Himself to us through creation, through His Word, and then through His Son, Jesus Christ. Today we want to know Him as the creator of all things. Creation does not exist by evolution, as postulated by Darwin and all the rest of them several years ago, but was actually created by God. We saw that in Genesis that we read chapter 1, verses 1 through 31. And then Nehemiah also attests to it in Nehemiah 9:6. As the creator, God deserves our worship and He also deserves our adoration. Other things must not take the place of God in our hearts. He alone must command our affection, our worship, and also our adoration. Alright, so let's go to our discussion. Number 1 says, how did creation come about? How did creation come about? So let's back up a little bit and go back to Genesis chapter 1, and then we'll take a look at the first 3 verses. How did creation come about? Please help him with that. Genesis 1, 2, and 3 is on the screen. Who's helping us with that?
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void. And darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light.
Okay, let's try to answer the question. How did creation come about? How did it happen? Okay?
Because God saw that the earth was without form.
Okay, that was the reason He did something. Okay, but how did the entire thing, how did it come about? Okay.
God spoke into the voice situation to bring forth.
Okay, God spoke into the voice situation to bring forth. Okay, alright, another person.
He commanded that there shall be light.
Okay.
There was light.
Okay. Look at the question again. How did creation come about? How did it happen?
The Spirit of God moved.
The Spirit of God moved. Okay. The Spirit of God moved. God spoke and all that. Okay, but look at the first line of that scripture that's on the screen. Let's read it. In the beginning,
God created the heaven and the earth.
so how did the whole thing come about?
When He created the heaven and the earth.
Pure and simple. You guys are too learned. That's the problem. That's the problem. Very simple thing. How did creation come about? God created the heaven and the earth. God did everything. How did they do it? Is how you are trying to expand now. We haven't got into that yet. How did God do it? Okay, God spoke. God said this, God said that. But how did the whole thing happen? God. Alright, let's continue. John chapter 1. If you are in doubt of my answer, let's look at John chapter 1. John chapter 1 and then verse number again 1, 2, and 3. Okay.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by Him, and without Him was not anything made that was made.
So how did creation come about? Huh? No, bring it up. Don't let Mama confuse you. Bring it up. Bring it up.
Everything came about through God.
Everything came about through God. God did everything. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God. So the Word was with God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by Him. So He made everything. Who is the Word there that is being referred to as the Word there?
Jesus.
It's Jesus. Jesus is the Word of God. All things were made by Him. Without Him was not anything made that was made. So God made everything. God created everything. God created everything. Jesus is the creator. God used Jesus to create everything. Okay, we want to expatiate on it a little bit. Alright, Colossians chapter 1. Let's look at that scripture. Colossians chapter 1, verses 15 through 19. Colossians 1, beginning from verse 15 through 19. We are bringing up one by one. Okay, who is going to help us with this? Okay. Can you read it from where you are sitting? Can you read it? Who is the image of the invisible God? If that is too far, you can use this one. If this is too far, then you probably have to use your own Bible. Who is helping us? Who is going to pick up the challenge? Okay.
Who is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of every creature? For by Him were all things created. They are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible. Whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created by Him and to Him. And He is before all things, and by Him all things consist. And He is the head of the body, the church, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things He might have the evidence. For it pleased the Father that in Him
All fullness. Well, thank you. So again, how did the whole creation come into being? God created everything. But if you want to see who did He use to create it, then we can begin to talk about the Word, which is also Jesus. Because this one here, Jesus, the same thing with the scripture we read in John. John tells us that the Word created everything. Nothing was ever created that was not created by the Word. This is also affirming the same scripture. So how did the whole world come about? God created it. How did He do it? Jesus, the Word of God. Genesis said that God spoke and everything came about. But then John tells us that Jesus actually made everything. So He spoke the Word. Who is the Word? Jesus is the Word. We're getting it now. He spoke the Word, and then the Word now began to do everything that God wanted Him to do. Okay. Alright, what was God's purpose in creation? What was God's purpose in creation? Let's try to just take the question very simple, the way it is coming up, and let's just answer it like that. Don't try to complicate things. Life is simple. Amen. Let's make it simple. Amen. All right, let's go back to that scripture again. Let's look at it from the NLT to help us. What was God's purpose in creation? Colossians 1:15 through 19. Okay.
Christ is the visible image of the invisible God.
Okay.
He existed before anything was created and is supreme over all creation.
Okay.
But through him, God created everything in the heavenly realms and on earth.
Okay.
He made the things we can see and the things we can't see, such as thrones, kingdoms, rulers, and authorities in unseen world.
Okay.
Everything was created through him and for him.
Say that again.
Everything was created through him and for him.
Okay, continue now.
He existed before anything else, and he holds all creation together. Christ is also the head of the church, which is his body. He is the beginning, supreme over all, who rise from the dead. So he is first in everything, for God in all his fullness was pleased to be with him.
All right, thank you. Let's go back to the question. What was God's purpose in creation? Don't allow fear. Bring it up.
I think for his purpose of so he could reign supreme over everything.
You know, when you were reading that scripture, I told you to read a certain part 2 times. That should give you enough hint. That's the hint.
Everything
That's
was
the answer.
created through him and for him.
For him. Very simple. I told you it's very simple. Don't let's complicate it. Let's. It's so simple. Let's just take it like that. Don't think that this is too simple. No, just take it like, because that's how it is. Let's just take it like that. Where is it again? Everything was created through him and that's it. So God created everything for himself. Yeah. We're going to look at some other scriptures. Then we'll see that for his pleasure and all of that. Revelations 4:11. Let's have Revelations 4:11. That's Revelation 4:1. I think it should be. Is it 1? Okay. Okay.
You are worthy, O Lord, our God, to receive glory and honor and power. For you created all things, and they exist because you created what you do.
Okay. Now let's go to King James Version.
Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power. For thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and they are created.
So this makes the answer to be a little more direct, makes the answer a little simpler for us. So this one is talking about God creating everything for his own pleasure. You know, like you buy yourself a very expensive car just for your pleasure. It's not for any other person. Amen? It's just for your pleasure. People will see you ride in that car. They probably haven't even seen the inside of it before, but it doesn't really bother anybody. But you are the one who knows what is in that car, and then you enjoy it. So the reason you bought it is just to give yourself pleasure. You could have bought a smaller car. A car is a car. A car will take you to anywhere you want to go to. It will take you to Walmart, take you to Dixie, bring you to church, take you to your job. Virtually all cars will be able to do that. But there's a kind of pleasure you get from one car to another. That's why you spend so much money to buy a very expensive car. So you can. It's not as though I can take you to where you are going. You will still get there, even if you go in a smaller car. Amen. But you get a certain pleasure, grade by grade. The cars are in grade by grade. So, so God created everything, including human beings, for his own pleasure. That's it, just to give him pleasure. And nobody can question him. Nobody can question. He created everything and everyone for his own pleasure. Okay, why did God create humans? Okay. Now wait, the answer is going to be a little different now. Why did God create human beings? Okay. Genesis, let's go back to our scripture in Genesis chapter 1 and then 27 through 31. We will say Genesis here. Okay. Genesis 1, 27 through 31 now. Let's also do it from the New Living Translation. Maybe that will help us better.
So God created human beings in his own image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female. He then God blessed them and said,
Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth with and govern it. Reign over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, and all the animals that scurry along the ground. Then God said, Look, I have given you every seed-bearing plant throughout the earth and all the fruit trees for your food. And I have given every green plant as food for all the wild animals, the birds in the sky, and the small animals that scurry along the ground, everything that has life. And that is what happened.
Okay. Let's stick to verse 28. Let's read verse 28 again in the New Living Translation and also in King James Version.
Then God blessed them and said, Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and govern it. Reign over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, and all the animals that scurry along the ground.
Good. Let's have the same scripture again from King James Version. That was NLC.
And God blessed them, and God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
Okay, are we ready to answer the question now?
Yes.
Okay. Who's going to help me? Okay. Why did God create humans?
God created human to fill the earth,
1,
govern and dominion.
2. God created human beings to fill the earth, okay, to govern the earth and to have dominion. Okay? There's one other thing that was left out. Whereas it is implied in your answer anyway.
To replenish.
To replenish. It's the same thing as to fill, to replenish and multiply. So that it won't just end, it will just continue like that, it will continue like that. So, and then we talked about dominion during the message. I don't know whether you still remember that. That he created all things and he gave us dominion, authority over everything. Over the entire creation, he gave us dominion. So, by that, he put us in charge. That's what we are saying in essence. He created everything and then he actually put man to be in charge of everything. So something goes wrong, God is going to hold man accountable. Amen? So there's a lot of responsibility that God has put upon human beings. So let's start with the family setting. When something went wrong in the first family, in the Garden of Eden, who did God challenge?
Adam.
God challenged Adam. Now, who actually committed the problem? Oh, no. Both of them did, but who started the problem? Huh? Eve. It was Satan. Okay, Satan now used somebody. Eve. Okay. So everything still comes to Eve. Okay. Alright. So, but when God came into their house, God knew everything, God saw everything. But God did not even turn to Eve. No. He just went straight to Adam and began to ask Adam questions. So something goes wrong. The one who has been put in charge is the one who's going to be held accountable. So in your defense, you might now bring up the other people and say, okay, God, I didn't do it alone. This other person is an accomplice. This other person pushed me to doing it. This other person was there. This other person should have told me don't do it. But for some reason, the person kept quiet. The person didn't try to help me. The person was probably looking at some gains, whatever he or she was going to gain out of it. So decided to just keep quiet and didn't say anything. So everybody got punished. All the three of them got punished. Adam got punished, Eve got punished, Eve got punished, and then Satan himself got punished. Everybody got punished. But it started with one person. It started with one person. And when God was going to mete out punishment, he also started with that person. So let us be careful. There's a purpose that God created us. Let us try to focus on that purpose and do it. If we are put in a position of governance, let us go on well. Amen. Let us go on well. Let us know that we are going to be held accountable one day. God is going to call us to question. Amen. On your job that you do, if you are in charge, if you are the big boss, see yourself as an employee of Jesus. That's the way I like to see it. You might do some things and get away with it. Your earthly boss might not see it. You might be able to find a way to maneuver your ways around, God is watching over there. Amen. He's going to ask you one day, this position that I put you in the year so and so and so, what did you do with it? And then you are going to have to answer him. So let us see ourselves as the manager of the resources that God has put in our care, and then just manage it well. Okay. Why did God create human beings? So that we can be in charge of every other thing He created. And you will agree with me that God actually created human being last. If you follow the sequence in Genesis chapter 1, God created human beings last on the 6th day. After He had created every other thing, He created human beings, and then He put human beings in charge. If you are going to have a meeting with a governor or a president or somebody important like that, every other person will have been in the hall seated. And then the big man comes in. That's how it goes. And then once he comes in, the meeting starts. You don't wait anymore for anybody. Anybody who is not able to come in before he comes in, some of the time they shut them out. Some governors are so strict on that, they just ask the door to be closed, or some presidents also, they give that order. They consider it not appropriate that after they have come in and they have started the meeting, and now you are walking in. No. Some people will frown at that. So, in your job, when the CEO wants to address everybody is seated, and then the CEO comes in. Once he comes in, they shut it up, and then they start the meeting. That's how it happens. That's how it happens. So, God created every other thing, and then He brought man in. And He says, look at all these things that I've created. You are in charge. Amen. And He gave him wisdom to be able to know what to do, to be able to know what to say. And everything was working fine until when the deceiver came in and began to deceive them. The deceiver will not deceive you in the name of Jesus. Amen. All right, let's go to number 4. What challenges do we have from the following scriptures? Do we actually have challenges by them? Let's take a look at them. First one of them is Matthew chapter 22 and verse number 27. We'll read it from the two versions, King James Version and then 37 rather. Matthew 22 verse number 37, not 27, verse 37. We'll read it from King James Version and then from the NLT. Let's go.
Jesus said unto them, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind.
Okay. Now from the NLT.
Jesus replied, You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, and all your soul, and all your mind.
Thank you. Now let's look at the question. The question says, what challenges do we have from the scripture? Do we have any challenges?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the challenge there? Or the challenge is there? Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, not partial love. So what is the challenge there? Yes, ma'am.
I don't think we love Him as we have been commanded to love Him.
Okay.
Because it's obvious, with ourselves we can tell, complain, oh, you love me, you're not talking to me, or you are not there. So if we love God, it's like...
Can you back up a little bit? You love me, you're not talking to me?
Yeah, yes, you're not, we complain, you don't talk to me, or you're not there when,
Oh, we challenge God like that?
No, not God. I
Okay.
mean, like with human beings.
Human beings, okay.
So
okay. We expect human beings to talk to us if they love us.
Yes,
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yes,
okay.
so we are able to judge ourselves that I don't think you love me.
Okay, because you're not talking to me, you didn't call me. Oh yeah, throughout 2018 you probably called me once. Or maybe you didn't even call. Did I get called from everybody in 2018? Is there anybody I didn't call in 2018? I was just joking. Just continue.
So I'm thinking if we have a challenge, it's either we don't know that we don't love God, but we think we love God.
Alright. Okay, any other person? I thought we were going to take it to a little dimension, a little further than that. Maybe somebody will help to do that, or maybe I'll come back to it later on. That idea interests me, that if you love me, why didn't you call me? You don't call me regularly. You don't do this, you don't do that, and you still claim that you love me. How many times did you bring food for me? When I was in the hospital, you didn't even bother to come and visit me. You didn't even call me. I checked my phone. I didn't see your number there. No missed call, no voice message. How do we relate that with God? Yes, okay. What's the challenge that we have? The question is, hold on. The question is, what challenge do we have from this scripture here? Love your God. Huh? Loving God. What Mrs. Ijoma brought up, I want us to use that to try to answer the question in a way that you claim that you love me. Talking to somebody now that you claim you love me, but you don't call me regularly, you don't talk to me regularly. Can we extend that to God? Do we call God regularly? Do we communicate with Him on a regular basis? You talked about prayers. How often do we pray? How often do we sit down to know about this God? If we say we love Him, how often do we check the word that He has given unto us? How often do we discuss our issues with Him? Something happens to us, who do we call first? We call people, begin to ask for their opinions. Do we ever get down on our knees to take the case before the throne of God and say, Father, Lord, this is what is going on. I hand over unto you. Please help me here. Do we do that first, or we do that last? After we have consulted everybody and then we seem not to be getting any good answer, and finally it occurs to, oh, I haven't prayed about it. That's where we should have started from. Amen? We should have started from praying. Oh, I haven't prayed about this. After we have consulted everybody. So if you had gotten answer from somebody, you probably wouldn't have bothered to talk to God about it. And we still claim that we love Him. Amen? We still claim that we love Him. When something happens to you, who do you call first? You call your spouse. Right? Okay. So how do you also remember to call God? The kind of relationship that exists between you and your spouse, can you claim that that relationship exists between you and God? Honestly, can you claim that? So I think that's where the challenge is. We tend to put human beings first before God. It shouldn't be like that. And that scripture again says, love God with all your heart. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy soul, all thy mind. And then it says, all your heart, all your soul, all your mind. So if you love somebody with that kind of love, there shouldn't be a day that we not talk to that person at least several times. Not just even once, not just even twice. I think you should talk to that person several times in a day. Well, everybody has been a young lover at one time or another. When you began to be in love, I know they weren't cell phones. In our own time, they weren't cell phones. But even when they weren't cell phones, you still make sure that you go and visit that person at least one day. If that person has not seen you, that person will know that something is wrong. There were no phones, so you couldn't even call to find out where are you, what is going on. So your legs were your cell phone. You go with your legs. And you send letters. If you weren't living close by, you were living in different places, you send letters. Huh? It was always. Oh, okay. Amen. So you exchange visits with that person. If you haven't seen that person in one day, you are thinking, I haven't seen this person, what is going on? And when they began to make cell phone, and you have to call several times. Just checking, how are you? If you can't call, you send a text. Right? Well, just wanted to know that everything is fine. How are you doing? Oh, I'm good. Okay. Some people, when their spouses go to work, they won't even let the person do the job. Messages are coming in, boom, 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 every minute. Just checking on you, just making sure that you are fine. Okay, tell that person I'm not fine. So what's he going to do? Jump in the car and come out to your door. Praise the Lord, that was just a joke. So the challenge here is that it appears as if we don't really love God the way we should. And in this new year, I just thank God for this study in the first one in the new year. In this new year, we all need to work on it. Let us spend more time on the Word of God. Very, very important. Let us spend more time on the Word of God. The time you spend on Facebook, the time you spend on social media, you can just spend half that time with God. Oh, everything will be transformed. But social media is not going to help you in any way. Praise the Lord. It's not going to help you in any way. You know, some people wake up in the morning before they say, "Thank you, Father, for waking me up this morning." They're already checking their phones. You know, I caught myself doing that sometime, and then I made a rule for myself. I said, before I check my phone in the morning, it must be after my morning devotion. After my morning devotion, then I will check if there's any message, if there's anything, but not before. But it was so bad. It was so bad. You wake up to use the restroom, the next thing you are checking your phone. It's that bad. We have to be able to get ourselves away from this thing. I don't know if it's a glue or if it's a bondage or whatever. I don't know what it is. But everybody will have to work on it this year. We spend too much time. It is. We spend too much time with this telephone, this little piece of equipment that we carry about. It's like we can't live without it anymore. It shouldn't be like that. A few years ago, they were in cell phones. Why are we so glued to this thing called cell phone? So this year, let us make a determination that it's okay to check your phone, but talk to God first. Amen. Talk to God first before you have a question. Okay, go ahead. Bring it up. Okay.
So the first is, why does this verse say soul and mind?
Why does it say what?
Why does it say your heart, your soul, your mind?
Yeah, everything about you. Man, we said it here before that man is soul, spirit, and body. So everything about you. You must love God with everything about you. Not just one part or a little part, but everything about you, including your position, including your possession, including your power. Everything about you must love. God must come first. In every decision you want to make, God must come first. So that's spirit, soul, and mind. Everything.
I guess maybe you answered my second question.
Okay.
My second question was, what does each of those represent?
Okay.
I feel like your heart represents soul, and get that the triune.
Everything, Olamide, everything. You have to bring everything on board, including your position, your possession, and your power. Everything that belongs to you, everything that is you, everything that has your label on it. You have to love God with it. God has to come first. That's the way God wants us to operate. He has to be number one. There's the word preeminence. God has to take preeminence. He has to take the first position in everything that is you. That's why I say soul, spirit, body, and mind, everything. Do we have any other question? Okay. Can we continue? All right. Any question? Okay. All right. Let's look at the last question here. Or maybe before we should go to the last question, let's bring up Joshua 24:15. Joshua chapter 24, verse number 15. What challenge do we have from the following scripture? Joshua chapter 24, verse number 15.
And if it seems evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom ye will serve.
Okay.
Whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the
Amorites.
in whose land ye dwell, but as for me and my house,
Okay, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. You can choose to serve anything. Anything called God with little g. You can choose to serve that thing. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Okay, so question is, what is the kind of challenge that we get from this scripture here? It seemed evil unto you to serve the Lord. Choose you this day whom ye will serve. Whether the gods with little g's, which your fathers served, that were on the other side of the flood, or still gods with little g's of the Amorites, that is to say, idols, and things like that. in whose land ye dwell. But as for me, as for Joshua and his entire household, he said he was going to serve the Lord, the God with big G. So what is the challenge here? Anybody? Yes, ma'am.
I think having to, deal with other people around you that are distracting you from serving the Lord.
Okay, good. Having to deal with everybody and everything, including everything.
Yes, that won't allow you to serve God.
Yeah. Some of the time you are praying and your phone is ringing. What do? You are praying, you are serious prayers, you are communing with God. Because that's what you are doing when you are praying and you are communing with God. And then your phone rings. What do you do? Ignore it. But do we really ignore it? That's what we are supposed to do, right? That's the real thing that we are supposed to do. But how often do we ignore that call? Quickly check your phone. Who's calling? I will call you back. I will call you back, and then you continue with prayers. After you are done with prayers, then you call that person. Or some of the time you even forget that you are praying. You are already getting on the phone with that person. Praise the Lord. Amen. So let us stay a little bit more focused this year. Let us just concentrate. Those phone calls can wait. When you are talking to God, you are talking to God. We should see it as serious business. We should imagine that God is sitting next to you and talking to him. Will you be answering phone calls? If you are in a meeting with a governor or even a senator, for instance, you are in a meeting with even your boss in the office. Senator is too far. You are in a meeting with your boss in the office and your phone rings. Will you tell your boss, excuse me, let me quickly get this call? No, you can't do that. So why do we now push God as soon as the phone rings, we grab the phone? Let us show some more respect, amen. Those phone calls can wait. You can always talk on the phone at any time. Suppose you were sleeping and the phone rang and you weren't able to get up to answer the phone. The call will have waited anyway. So let's just take God with more seriousness. That's where we are going. That's just a summary of the whole thing. Let's just take God with more seriousness. And then number 5, what are the dangers of serving other gods? What are the dangers of serving other gods? That takes us to the book of Romans. Romans chapter 1, beginning from verse number 26. Let's take it as far as 32. Let's take it from the James Version. Romans 1.
Because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made into a corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. Who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen.
Okay. So what would be the danger of serving other gods? From the scripture that we just read, what would be the danger of serving other gods with little g's? If anybody wants to know, you want us to read that scripture again? Okay, let's bring it up again. We're in Romans chapter 1, beginning from verse number 26. For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. Is that the same scripture that you read in 26?
I think you read 21 twice.
You read 21 to where?
25.
Oh, I said 21. I said let's take it to 32.
Oh.
Okay, let's start again. You missed out a lot if you started from there. Yeah. Let's start from 21. Romans 1:21. Look at your paper here. What does it say?
21.
Romans 1:21. It's supposed to end at 21. So let's take it to 32. Okay.
Because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but been in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible, and to birds, and to four-footed beasts, and creeping things.
Okay. So while they were doing that, what was happening now? They shifted their attention from God to little things. Well, things with little g's, gods with little g's. They shifted their attention. Okay. So let's continue now with verse 24. So let's begin to see the consequences of their action now. Okay.
Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lusts of their own hearts, to dishonor their own between themselves.
So when they chose not to serve God, God also put his back on them, and then they began to do things that were not even good even for themselves. Let's just switch over to NLT from verse number 24. Mr. Computer Guy, please turn over to 24.
So God
To NLT rather. So go ahead.
So God abandoned them.
Look at that. God abandoned them. Okay, go ahead.
To do whatever shameful things their hearts desired. As a result, they did vile and degrading things with each other's bodies.
Okay, can you pause a little bit? Now, when a child refuses to listen to elderly people, listen to instructions, after some time, people will give up on that person. You know, there's an adage in Yoruba land that says, "Don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me. You're going to kill me one day. Don't kill me, don't kill me." After some time, child, don't kill yourself. Don't kill yourself. It's good. Don't kill me, don't kill me. You are too much. Don't kill me, don't kill me. After some time, you say, "You know what? I give up. Just don't kill yourself." So, because they will not serve God, the Bible says that God actually abandoned them, and then they began to do things that were not even reasonable, things that they were not even convenient for them to do. Can you continue, please? Continue verse 25. They traded the truth.
They traded the truth about God for a lie.
Okay.
So they worship and serve the things God created instead of the Creator himself, who is worthy of eternal praise. Amen. That is why God abandoned them to their shameful desires. Even the women turned against the natural way to have sex, and instead indulged in sex with each other. And men, instead of having normal sexual relations with women, burned with lust for each other. Men did shameful things with other men, and as a result of this sin, they suffered within themselves the penalty they deserved. Since they thought it foolish to acknowledge God, he abandoned them to their foolish wisdom and let them do things that should never be done.
That's what happens when a person chooses to constantly live in disobedience. After some time, that person is abandoned. Because you have tried to counsel them, you have tried to pray for them, but they just won't listen. After some time, what do? You give up. Then you say, okay, I hand you over to God. But God is also talking to that person. The person is not listening. So after some time, what is God going to do? God will after some time will also say, oh, you know what, you can do what you like with yourself. You shouldn't push God, to get to that kind of position concerning us. We should be willing to do what? To obey him. We should be willing to listen to him. When God says, thank you, Sister Kiri, when God says this is not good, we all know what is not good. When God says this is not good, we should not indulge ourselves in doing something that we know is not good. Now, if something is not good and we are not aware that it's not good and we do it, that's still excusable. Oh, I didn't know it was wrong, that's why I did it. Okay? Even in the court of law, there's what they call first offender. But if you continue to go before that judge for the same offense, after some time, that judge is going to give you the maximum penalty. I talked about me going to a traffic court sometime ago in this place. I don't know how many people are around there. I got a traffic ticket. I was speeding, So I got a ticket and I went to the court. The court used to be on North Florida. I don't know whether they still have it there. And the gentleman said, oh, you are from Lagos? I said, yes, I'm from Lagos. He said, oh, yeah, I know Lagos. You know Victoria Island? I said, yes, I know VI. So we were having a good conversation in the court. We were having a good conversation, and then he said, okay, don't worry about it. So he slashed my ticket into 2. And then as I was going to say, come back. And then he snatched it again. So he gave me 1/4 of the ticket I should have paid, just because I am from Lagos. And this guy had been in Lagos, but he probably had some nice suya and all that in Lagos. So a few days after that, I was back in the same court for the same offense, over speeding. This time there was nothing like, you from Lagos and all of that. No. The guy just took $1 out of the penalty. It was so funny. So I showed it to the court clerk. I said, I think the judge made a mistake. I think he made a mistake. You want to wait until when he's done with everybody and then come back. So I went back before him and he said, I didn't make a mistake. He said, look at me very well and listen. In this court, I have 2 powers. I can slash your ticket and I can increase it up to a maximum of $500. So if I ever see your face again, praise the Lord. If I ever see your face in this place again, I'm going to give you the maximum amount. So he now slightly take ticket into 2 for me to go and pay the half of the ticket. That was the day I made up my mind. I said, Lord, please help me. I don't want to go through this money. Amen. So when a person continues to do the same thing repeatedly, God cannot be happy with that kind of situation. If you do it once in a while, you can say, okay, maybe it was a mistake. So I think it's an everyday thing. The court will look at your record when they pull you over. They will not pull you over in the name of Jesus. Amen. When they pull you over, the first thing they do is they run your record. They look at your driver's license and they run it. If you are the owner of the car that you are driving, even before the cops come down, he's already known everything about your driving record. Just by the plate, you can run everything. So some of the time, you will say, I don't even need your license. Don't bother about it. Because just from your plate, from your car plate, he has known everything about you. So then he will say, okay, I went through your record. I see that you are a nice person. You are a good citizen. You've never had any ticket in 12 years. So I'm just going to let you go. I went before a judge sometime and that's what he said. He said, well, I looked at your record. 12 years you didn't have any record. I don't want to spoil it for you, so just go. So I went out. I was happy. But if I had had records every 6 months, I'm sure I would have given me maybe double punishment. So if you do something once in a while, occasionally, yeah. But if it is something that you do repeatedly, then it's not good. Even doing it once in a while, we need to, as much as was wrong for me, this new year, let's make a resolution. Lord, help me. I want to follow the path of righteousness. And the Lord will help you and I in the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. Let's conclude because of our time. You are created to give God pleasure. So we are created to give, we talked about prayer the other time. We are created to give God pleasure. To start to do that from today. So start to do that from today by living to please Him and also by living to praise Him. Your life will praise God and will please God in the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. Let's bless God with our offering as we prepare to close. When is our next meeting in this church? On Saturday. For what purpose? Evangelism and also workers' meetings. So evangelism and workers' meeting this Saturday by the grace of God. Amen. All right, let's take our offering and then I will bring up my thanks. I want to thank everybody. But let's thank God first. Amen. Let's rise up on our feet. We talked about putting God first, right? All right. Let's start tonight. Eternal King of Glory, we want to thank you. For it has pleased you to bring us into this brand new year, a year we have never seen before. And you have started the year for us in a very good footing. We ask that you also end it for us, Lord, in a very good way. Thank you, Lord, for this Bible study and for the meeting we have had tonight. Thank you, Lord, for bringing us in. Thank you for taking us into your word and for teaching us your word and expanding your word unto us. As a token of appreciation of your goodness and faithfulness, we have brought this offering to worship you. Our way of saying thank you, Daddy, for all the great, wonderful, marvelous, and beautiful things you have done for us. Now, Lord, let this of me, Lord, be a sweet smelling savour, acceptable unto your God. Let it rise up unto you for my prayer. Use it to increase your church and to increase your kingdom. Open thou, O Lord, your floodgates of heaven over us, and pour forth your blessing upon us without measure, so that all the days of our life we shall never lack goodness. Rebuke every devourer of our sacred. Lead us the way to go. Teach us to profit and to prosper. Spirit, body, and soul. Jesus, now let us know we pray. Amen. And praise the Lord.
Hallelujah. 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 Shout hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Praise the Lord. Praise the living Jesus. Our God is good. I want to thank everybody and I want to appreciate everybody for coming out to celebrate with us in our house yesterday. That was really, really awesome. That was really wonderful. We bless the name of the Lord for your life. Just turn it off and then take it back. So we bless the name of the Lord for everybody. We thank you, we thank you, and we thank you on behalf of the whole family and on behalf of the church. We say thank you for coming. All those who also came to join us in the preparation, we thank you. For all those who brought one kind of gift or another for us, we thank you. And for those who have blessed us even before the party, we also thank you. We recognize all of them, we appreciate you, and we pray that Lord will to bless you and increase in all areas. In Jesus' name. This year, remember, it's a year of transformation, and it's a year of restoration, and you shall walk in dominion and authority. In the name of Jesus. Amen. And let us thank God for today's meeting. Also, God, we thank you. We appreciate our God for bringing us together, for blessing us, and to receive our blessings. We pray that our blessings shall surely come. We go now in the name of the Lord. We shall go in peace and arrive in our homes in peace. We shall not be involved in an accident. Our vehicles shall not be broken before. Thank you, Lord. In Jesus' marvelous name we have prayed. Amen. Let us share the grace. In the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, the fellowship of the Holy Spirit, be with us now and forevermore. Amen. And surely goodness and mercy shall follow us in our families all the days of our life. We shall be in the presence of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. And peace, the peace of the Lord be with you all. Amen. And somebody got baptized today. Somebody got baptized in water today. You know who got baptized? No? You want to know? That brother there, brother Lamini, got baptized. So Lord, we appreciate that. Yeah, James.